Imagine a scenario that you are walking on a calm, lonely path with an endless destination in sight. As you are walking, a foreign object in your way snaps your eyes. Your mind suddenly drowns in curiosity and obligates your body to approach this foreign object. You stop and extend your arm to gather this thing that disturbed the peaceful state of your meditating consciousness. It's a pen, a special pen, that does not require a solid surface to work, but instead can write into outer air and in all dimensions. Also, everything that is depicted with this pen comes to life. Upon this discovery, you begin to draw a three-dimensional cube, no larger than yourself. Once you have finished, you step away from your illustration that has now become reality, and on the click of your fingers, you make your creation disappear. No magic or tricks, but for the object to seriously just instantaneously vanish like it never existed. All atoms and energy that assemble that piece of matter to just pop out of existence. What would happen? Because of the instant vanish, the volume of where your creation stood would now be a completely empty patch of space in the shape of the object that occupied it. As the surrounding atmosphere could not replenish the void instantaneously, the lack of present matter would be replaced with a low pressure vacuum similar to outer space. Due to such abnormal change in the surrounding area, the first instinct of our atmosphere would be signaling to stabilize and to repressurize the empty patch of space to a comfortable average atmospheric pressure of 14.7 pounds per square inch. Similarly, as to what happens to an air bubble at certain depths under the ocean, the atmosphere would quickly rush in and try to fill in the patch of empty void and collapse on the vacuum at the average speed of sound of 340 meters per second. This would create a loud bang that would resemble the noise of a nearby thunderbolt and also create a shock wave, much less powerful but closely comparable to when a fighter jet exceeds the speed of sound and breaks the sound barrier, which produces a sonic boom. This event could damage nearby sensitive structures or some living organisms, for example, shatter windows or cause harm to our eardrums, all depending on the size of the original vacuum. Regardless that the vacuum conditions are highly unstable inside our atmosphere, there are places on Earth where they do exist. Most astronomy-focused research centers around the world recreate and contain a perfect vacuum and outer space environment, all to test and prepare future satellites, landers, spacesuits, and much more, to assure they are ready for their upcoming journey to one of the harshest places inside our universe. The conditions are replicated in large reinforced containers that are connected to multiple pumping systems that are highly sealed, because a breach as minuscule as the width of a hair could end the container to burst and explode. The pumps suck out all gases located inside to reach the outer space pressure of 0 pounds per square inch. In addition, liquid nitrogen is used to lower the temperatures within the container to minus 270 Celsius or minus 457 Fahrenheit. Also, huge lamps are positioned on all sides that, once switched on, represent the sun's orbit and rays that quickly change the temperature within the container by hundreds of degrees in seconds. This simulation almost perfectly mirrors the vast region outside our atmosphere that makes up most of everything in the universe that we can see, which only lies 100 miles or less above us, and also from the safe, unique, and life-friendly pocket that we comfortably inhabit and call our Mother Earth, which protects us from all that attempts to wipe us out, and which we inherited for no cost and most likely from no one. Despite of that, we give up and let short-time solutions and pleasure take our priority and make most of our important decisions for the expense of the health, the strength, and the life of our future planet and our future generations. But let's again visit our past thought experiment. What if in this case, you were handed back the exact same special pen as prior, but this time you were relocated into space, into the middle of nothingness with all sight around you, thousands of light years away. You are given the same instructions as before to draw anything of your choice. Once completed, you attempt to float off as far away from your illustration that has now become reality, and then again, on the click of your fingers, you make that creation disappear. But this time, cause not only the contents that is the object to disappear, but also the plot of space-time fabric itself, the material our universe is made out of. Is that even possible? And what would happen? Would the whole universe be punctured and deflate? Or would the hole in the fabric cause the universe to start tearing until it rips apart into two or more pieces? And then would we have universal continents in the same way as the Earth? The short answer is nobody knows. And most likely, nobody will ever find out. At least, not in the near future. But what is it there to stop that from ever happening? Because as we now know, the fabric of our universe can also bend. In 1915, Albert Einstein predicted in his general theory of relativity a hypothesis known as gravitational waves. He envisioned that massive and powerful enough events in our universe could produce waves in spacetime and bend the universe. Similarly, as when a pebble is thrown into a puddle, which creates minuscule ripples that travel outwards and fade out after a certain distance. 100 years later, on September 14th, 2015, this prediction was finally observed and proven to be correct. Extremely precise and sensitive instruments recorded a ripple the length of 1/10,000 the diameter of a proton that passed through the Earth, which originated from two faraway black holes merging together 1.3 billion years ago. This concept of gravitational waves is the blueprint and basis for the fictional spacecraft named the Warp Drive, first proposed in 1994 by Miguel Alcubierre and originally inspired from a popular TV show named Star Trek. The idea is to accelerate using negative energy to bend the fabric of spacetime with the similar intent as a wormhole to shrink vast distances and travel them in much, much shorter time. Perhaps, if we succeed to understand this newly emerged field of science better, we may take few steps closer to possibly developing such or alike technology that could help us expand and colonize other distant stars and their planets, and to forever engrave our existence in this universe. Although there is a chance that holes in spacetime might already be present in the form of black holes that exist in the centers of almost every known galaxy in the observable universe. When the core of a supermassive star collapses on itself at the end of its life, it creates a supernova. As most of the material is ejected out into space, the remaining parts of the star continue to collapse further down until it forms a singularity, a point so significant that it is predicted to have unlimited density and unlimited gravity, that even light, the fastest traveling thing known in our universe, cannot escape its pull. Due to this event, many speculations arise. As a consequence of the incredible amount of energy produced by the birth and life of the singularity, some guess that it can even cause the laws of physics to break, and by which crack into the universe. But since not much is known about black holes, and to study them is extremely difficult, for some time all speculations may just stay speculations. But what if we constructed a spaceship that could travel to the nearest black hole to us in a human lifetime, and once the spaceship arrived, all passengers within would willingly put their lives to the lowest odds of survival and sacrifice themselves for science, and head with a one-way ticket straight to the center of the black hole? Well, to put it simply, that would be the last we would ever see of them. But at least, they chose perhaps one of the most exciting ways known to end their life. As they trekked near enough to the black hole, they would eventually pass a point named the event horizon, where the gravity becomes so strong that if they change their minds and desire to turn back, it would be impossible, no matter how fast they could go. After that, the ship's remaining time would be numbered, as they were pulled closer and closer to the singularity until the gravity would become so intense that it would be literally stretching and ripping the spacecraft and its passengers atom by atom. But for that to begin, it could take from minutes to weeks, depending on the size of the black hole. But what if that is not what would happen? What if all black holes that exist are some type of portals connecting different areas together within this universe, and once inside, all contents are transported to the centers of other galaxies in moments? And once the matter within reaches the end of the tunnel, it is spat out on the other side with the rest of everything that the black hole engulfed at the beginning. Or even maybe, black holes are the key to the exit out of this universe, and as soon as the last black hole evaporates after millions of trillions of years, all gates will forever shut, and whatever that may still exist inside will also end their existence inside. Hypothetically, where would everything come out? And how would it look there? And how would it feel? There is just too many questions to make answers to. Maybe nothing there is stable, and all the guts that come out from our universe instantly destruct and divide into atoms and energy that result in many chain reactions that eventually create new and unique baby universes. Or maybe the entirety that is ejected out of the black hole enters an environment equivalent to our outer space, although not dividing different stars, but instead the multiverse. As all that escapes out is left to cruise through voids so vast that new measuring units are required to be introduced based on the length of our own universe to portray distances between all that might be present. Or possibly there is none or very little space area dividing the different universes in the multiverse, and in contrary, they could exist crowded and squished together and perhaps interact with one another. Such as are trillions of cells in our living organism that dedicate themselves to work together and build complex structures as life. Perhaps, comparably, our universe is one individual cell that donates whole eternity of its existence as a tiny piece of a much larger project. But of course, this is all just fantasy and works of the imagination, and nobody knows if other universes exist or if they do not, as there is no possible way to test it yet, and no prior evidence has been ever observed. But I want to finish off with a quote from one of the most well-known current astronomers and science educators, Neil deGrasse Tyson. What I know about multiverses, it's an idea. It's a fertile idea. Nothing in the universe that we've ever discovered comes in once. We thought planet Earth was unique, is one of 8 planets. Then we saw the sun, big and bright. No, it's one of 100 billion suns in a galaxy. The galaxy, sure, that is all there is. No, it's one of 100 billion galaxies in the universe. The universe, that's surely all there is. Maybe not.